5 dark theories about Studio Ghibli films that will change how you see them. Episode 4, Princess Mononoke, The Curse of the Forest. Princess Mononoke is often praised as one of Ghibli's most ambitious epics. Set in Japan's Muromachi period, it tells the story of Ashitaka, cursed by a demon, who becomes caught between human expansion and the gods of the forest. To many Western viewers, it is an environmental film, a plea to protect nature from human greed. But in Japan, audiences often sense something deeper and darker beneath the surface. At its core, Princess Mononoke is not only about nature, it is about death, curses, and the impossibility of coexistence. The film begins with Ashitaka being struck by a boar demon's curse. This mark spreads across his arm, granting him unnatural strength but promising a slow and inevitable death. No matter what he does, the curse cannot be removed, only delayed. It is a powerful reminder that humans cannot escape mortality. Then there is the forest spirit, known as Shishigami. By day, it walks as a serene deer-like figure, bringing life wherever it steps. By night, it transforms into the towering Night Walker, its body stretching across the land. It represents both life and death, creation and destruction. When the spirit is decapitated, its body dissolves into an enormous black ooze that floods the forest. This horrifying image is more than fantasy, it is a manifestation of uncontrollable death and decay. The ooze spreads like poison, consuming everything in its path. No matter how hard humans or animals fight, they cannot resist it. This reflects a profound truth: the natural world may fight back, but ultimately, death comes for all. What makes Mononoke unsettling is that there is no clear victory. Even after the head of the forest spirit is returned, the curse is not erased, it merely subsides. Ashitaka's life is spared, but the scar remains, a permanent reminder of mortality. The forest survives, but it is changed forever. Humanity does not achieve harmony with nature, only a fragile truce. For Western audiences, this ambiguity is surprising. They expect environmental films to end with a moral victory, with nature triumphant or humanity redeemed. But Princess Mononoke leaves us with no such comfort. Instead, it shows that coexistence between gods and humans is ultimately impossible. The curse may slow, but it never disappears. Death is inevitable, and balance is fragile. That is why, for many, Princess Mononoke is not just a story of environmental struggle, it is a meditation on the human condition itself. Episode 5, Kiki's Delivery Service, The Depression Theory. Kiki's Delivery Service might seem like the gentlest film on this list. It follows a young witch, Kiki, who leaves home at 13 to begin her training in a new city. She builds a small business delivering goods by broomstick, makes friends, and gradually finds independence. But halfway through the film, something shocking happens. Kiki suddenly loses her ability to fly. Her broom no longer lifts off the ground, and even her beloved cat, Gigi, stops speaking to her. On the surface, this is just a temporary challenge for the heroine. But many fans interpret it as a metaphor for depression. Kiki's flight represents her creativity, her confidence, and her sense of purpose. When she loses it, she feels isolated, anxious, and powerless. Gigi's silence symbolizes the loss of her inner voice, the comforting self-dialogue that disappears when depression sets in. This interpretation strikes especially hard for viewers who saw the film as children, then revisited it as adults. What once looked like a sweet story about growing up now feels like an intimate portrayal of mental illness. Kiki's eventual recovery, through persistence and support from others, offers hope, but the metaphor lingers. It suggests that independence is not only about paying rent or running a business, but about overcoming the invisible battles within. Though not as chilling as the Totoro or Spirited Away theories, the depression theory gives Kiki's Delivery Service a depth that resonates deeply with adults. It reminds us that even in the brightest, most whimsical Ghibli films, shadows can appear, and those shadows are often the ones we carry inside ourselves. Ending. So, what do we make of these theories? On the surface, Studio Ghibli films are warm, magical, and family-friendly. But once you begin to look closer, once you peel back the layers, you find shadows hiding underneath the light. Spirited Away may not only be about courage, but about exploitation and survival in a world that strips away identity. Totoro, the smiling forest creature, may not be a friend at all, but a messenger of death. Grave of the Firefly shows us that even beauty, the glow of a firefly, cannot be separated from horror when war turns the sky into fire. Princess Mononoke teaches us that coexistence with nature and gods may be a dream, but death and curses are eternal truths. And even the bright skies of Kiki's delivery service reveal a darker battle, the invisible fight against depression, loneliness, and self-doubt. Some people reject these theories outright, calling them fan over-analysis. Others find them fascinating, saying they make the films richer, deeper, and more human. But whether you believe in them or not, one fact is undeniable. These interpretations exist because Studio Ghibli's films are not just simple fairy tales. They are layered works of art that leave space for the audience to imagine, to question, and to fear. When a children's movie can also feel like a ghost story, a war chronicle, or a meditation on mental health, that is a sign of timeless storytelling. Maybe the darkness was never intended. Maybe it was. But either way, the shadows are there. And once you notice them, you can never truly unsee them. That is why Ghibli continues to resonate across generations and cultures. It does not just comfort us, it unsettles us. And perhaps that is the real magic. So the next time you sit down to watch a Studio Ghibli film, ask yourself, what lies beyond the colors, the laughter, and the music? What hidden truths are waiting in the shadows of these beloved stories? Because once you start looking, you might discover that Studio Ghibli is not only about wonder, but also about the fears we dare not speak aloud. And maybe, just maybe, that is why we cannot stop watching.